Welcome to Tech Daily, all of your tech and social media news in 10 minutes or less. It is Friday, March 23rd, 2012. I'm Jacob Bodner. It's a bit of a slow news day today, but hey, we still have the news for you. Couple new and noteworthy things in the tech and social media world today, and we'll start with Facebook. There's been a lot made lately about Facebook being employees or prospective employees being forced to hand over their Facebook passwords. Everybody now pretty much knows that you should really lock down your Facebook if you're looking for a job. If there's questionable things on there, it probably works to your advantage if there's not questionable things on there if it's open. But if there are some things that are in question on there, it makes sense to lock it down. And so it's been that's kind of the norm. And now what's happening is that prospective employers, are asking employees and interviewees to hand over their Facebook passwords before they're allowed to get a job. This has kind of made some news lately, and now Facebook has come out and said some stuff about it. Facebook believes that its users shouldn't be forced to share private information to get a job or to get a place at college, referring to the fact that it made the sharing or the solicitation of a password a violation of its statement of rights and responsibilities. This is all according to the Next Web. Facebook's Chief Privacy Officer and Policy Officer Aaron Egan points out the risks for employers, stating that if access is requested to an employee's Facebook account, then the employer may open themselves up to claims of discrimination if they don't hire that person, having seen if they are a member of a protected group, which could encompass age, sex, or religion. Obviously, there are many stipulations when hiring people in terms of fairness that we've kind of set out, and that's a very good point. If you do look at somebody's Facebook profile, you would know that sensitive information about them that you otherwise may not be allowed to explicitly ask. Facebook says that it will take action to, quote, protect the privacy and security of its users and will engage policymakers by initiating legal action, including by shutting down applications that abuse their privileges. So Facebook looks like it's going to go to bat for users here in terms of this particular issue, but it's an issue that certainly will gain more traction as Facebook is a huge entity and employers want to know the information that their employees post on Facebook that might come back to damage the company in the future, or might be a deal breaker in terms of hiring that person. A lot has been made about the new iPad. We heard about battery, we've heard about today's story is about the battery. I meant to say, we've heard about Heatgate, which was the idea that the new iPad was getting really hot and it was burning people up. It wasn't really burning anybody up, but people were worried that it was 13 degrees hotter than its predecessor. Well, now the next big thing in terms of iPad problems is the fact that the battery is having problems with its charging. So what's happening here, some users are saying that the battery will say it's 100% full, but it's not actually 100% full, or it's taking a while to charge. So a report from DisplayMate Technologies yesterday noted that Apple's latest iPad is not fully charged when it shows that it's 100% charged. And today, the creator of the report says the problem is due to bad math. In a note sent to CNET and other media outlets this morning, DisplayMate President Ray Soniera said the iPad's behavior here can be attributed to the calculations that go into determining how far along the recharging process is based on battery health and other factors. He says the charge indicator on all mobile devices is based on a mathematical model of the charge rates, discharge rates, and recent discharge history of the battery. So there is something wrong with the iPad's mathematical model for recharging. It should not say 100% charged until it stops recharging and goes from the full recharging rate of about 10 watts to a trickle charging rate of about 1 watts. DisplayMate's original report, based on its own testing, found that the full power draw while charging Apple's latest iPad continued for about an hour after the on-screen display said the battery was at 100%. That meant those who unplugged the device at that point were potentially getting less of a charge than if they let the device keep charging. After additional testing, Soniera said it takes an additional 2 hours and 10 minutes after the battery reports 100% for the recharging cycle to fully terminate. So a significant amount of time after the battery indicator says 100%. Does it actually need more time charging for it to fully be charged? Apple has not immediately responded for a request to comment. If it is indeed a software issue, which it is, it's not a hardware issue. This is an issue with the software indicator and the mathematics it's doing. That would be an easy fix. That would be a software patch fix that Apple could send out. So nothing too damaging and huge here, but these are two uncharacteristic issues that we see in Apple products. Apple products have a history of being polished, and up until AntennaGate, There wasn't any big major problems. You really don't see major design flaws in Apple products. Antennagate was the big thing there, but that was fixed. The heating problem is something that you're just going to have to live with. I mean, that's just the price that you pay for having an LTE device with a Retina display and a 42-watt battery. So those are some issues that you're going to have there. This is the second, though, kind of big design issue that has happened and that's made some serious news with the new iPad, which is somewhat uncharacteristic of Apple. We talked earlier in several shows and on Status Update as well about Facebook's new logout advertising. So when you log out of Facebook, you'll now be served with an ad. Well, now we know how much that's going to cost you. And it's going to cost you similar to what it would cost you to buy Yahoo, YouTube, or MSN's homepage advertising. Facebook's initial asking price for a marketer looking to buy all logout page inventory in the U.S. for a given day is north of $700,000. That puts the unit in the same league as the web's most expensive display properties. Logout ads aren't available as a standalone product, however, but are bundled with premium homepage ads that users see on their news feeds. So the one-day ask to own the logout page in the U.S. is $550,000, but you are forced to buy $160,000 in logout inventory. You have to buy them together. Or actually, I believe the way it works is you have to buy, if you want to buy a logout inventory, which is $160,000, you have to buy the homepage inventory, which is $550,000. So the real logout price is $160,000. But if you want to get the logout, you have to buy the other thing, which makes it $700,000. So it's pretty pricey for a logout page. Pretty pricey. There have been some trickles of signs that a Retina display is heading to a MacBook near you. A new clue found within the latest developer release of Mountain Lion OS 10.8 suggests that 2012 may bring us the summer of Retina display Macs. This is according to Ars Technica. A source with access to the latest Mountain Lion preview alerted Ars that double-sized graphics have popped up in some unexpected areas, once again suggesting that Apple may be close to releasing MacBooks with high pixel density screens. One example comes from Messages, Apple's replacement for iChat. While using the app under the second developer preview of Mountain Lion, some icons are erroneously displaying 2 times resolution art. This wouldn't be a surprise. Obviously, the technology is still there. The technology is there, rather. They put it in an iPad. They can put it in a MacBook. And it would make sense to kind of have that Retina quality across all of their lines. And finally, today, Spotify is looking to raise a little more money, and in that, they made some news today because Business Insider is reporting that they are telling investors to value the company, this is Spotify now, at $3.5 billion. Spotify raised more than $100 million at a $1 billion valuation in 2011. Obviously, this is much larger. We're talking 3 times larger, more than 3 times larger than their initial valuation. Sources say firms are reluctant to do the deal at such a high valuation, given that Spotify does not own the content its users pay to access, and that it does not have exclusive rights to that content either. The parallel here is Hulu, which, while it does not own the content that it hosts or provides, it does have exclusive rights to a lot of it. However, they make note that Spotify's ownership structure is seen as more favorable to Hulu's because Hulu is essentially a project and a venture between a bunch of rival companies that could get mad at one another and pull out at any particular time, whereas Spotify is a single entity. But $3.5 billion is a huge valuation, just astronomical, and it looks like it's not really being taken seriously with the investor community. Streaming music and kind of this, what Spotify is pay and get everything kind of plan seems to be maybe the future to some degree, but not to that degree. That is going to do it for this episode of Tech Daily for Friday, March 23rd, 2012. We will elaborate on all of these stories and so much more on the next episode of Status Update, coming at you Sunday, March 25th at 7 p.m. at live.redtie.tv. Check out all of our past shows of Status Update at redtie.tv/SU. Follow that show on Twitter at StatusUpdateRTM. You can follow this here show on Twitter at TechDailyRTM. Follow me on Twitter at Jacob Bodner. All of our shows at redtie.tv/TD. Until Monday, have a great day. Or weekend, rather. Have a great weekend.